What is going on, everybody? Today, yet again, can't stress it enough. You are molding your children into what they are going to become in life. If you let them throw their temper tantrum and get away with murder, then you're essentially creating a murderer. I mean, they're going to grow up entitled and a sense of, like everybody owes them something. So two things that come to mind right now. Just read in the paper, the news this morning. In Florida, a 7-year-old boy, and this I kind of understand. The kid has some kind of mental disorder, and school went, his school, I can't think of the word. Something went out of norm for him, and maybe he's autistic, Asperger's, something, I'm not sure. But something went out of his normal routine in school, and he started to have a meltdown. School resource, and he struck a few teachers and teacher assistants and things of that nature. The school resource officer put him in handcuffs to detain him because he was acting out. Now, as an adult, you get arrested and you go to jail. You hit somebody, it's assault and battery, or could be aggravated battery, ag bag. It could be a lot of different things, right? Just at minimum, disorderly conduct. So, 7-year-old kid gets handcuffed by the school resource officer because he had a meltdown. He starts hitting people and, freaking out. And while I understand both sides of this, he has something wrong with him. Can't help it. But acting out like that is not acceptable. And I see in a lot of cases where kids have something wrong with them, parents just let them do whatever they want, and hitting is one of those things that parents just let them do, and I don't understand that. You're creating problems down the line and down the road in life. That kid is going to think, you let your mentally disabled kid hit you, and don't do anything about it. He is going to get in his head that it's okay to hit people. Because if mom and dad are letting me do it, I can go hit a perfect stranger. Not the case. At minimum, disorderly conduct, right? Now, kids can't, depending on the charge, kids can't be charged as adults. A 7-year-old kid, I mean, that's just stupid to even think about. But it's just leads me to my next point, is to where a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, is a Madison police officer, and he does work at the mall on the weekends. The mall is contracted out Madison PD to come in and they have a curfew at the mall. After 4 p.m. on Fridays, no child under the age of 18 can be there without an adult. Same goes for all day Saturday. So, Madison PD, or the mall contracted out Madison PD. He's my friend, as one of the officers there, and goes and he helps out. He assists mall security. So, there's a large group of kids, and they're all being kids. They're being loud and obnoxious and horseplaying, and it's one thing if they're going to be loud and obnoxious out in the mall if they're not physically disturbing anybody. Making loud noises and stuff, yeah, you're disturbing the peace, but you're not really hurting anybody. You're not hurting anything, right? But now what happened with these kids, they start taking stuff off the shelves and throwing things, and making a mess of stores. That creates a huge problem. One, it was after 4 o'clock on a Friday, and they weren't supposed to be there without somebody over the age of 18 or a parental guardian. Two, they were causing a ruckus in the store. They were being disorderly. So, my friend, the Madison PD officer, which I'm going to leave his name out of this, he goes and, he goes in with mall security to back up mall security, and advises all the kids they've got to leave. You guys don't have a parent with you. You can't be here. He's like, long story short, he basically tries to get these kids to leave for a half hour. They don't want to listen. Finally, at one point, one of the girls that was being, 14-year-old girls that was being extremely mouthy to him, all the normal stuff, calling him names, swearing at him, whatever. She wants to go and start getting in his face. Not something smart to do to a police officer, right? Any type of peace officer, not just police officers, right? Don't get in an officer's face, period. Or seek to. So he tells me he felt so stupid having to put cuffs on a 14-year-old girl after basically begging her and her friends to just leave them all so he wouldn't have to do anything about it. You know, like he gave them every chance in the world to do the right thing and just leave, and they kept refusing to. He ended up arresting the 14-year-old girl that got in his face for trespassing. Now, granted, mom came and picked her up. She didn't go to juvenile. She didn't get ticketed for trespassing, which is a mandatory court appearance. So now that 14-year-old girl is going to have a permanent court record because she decided to be stupid and not listen to law enforcement. Now, guess what? That all rotates back to mom and dad, if there's one in the picture. Not that it matters. Not that it matters, because I'm not a racist bigot by any means, but it was a large group of African-American kids. So, that being said, this 14-year-old girl now has a permanent record because she decided she wanted to be stupid. 99% of that, I guarantee, is going to result back into how her mom portrayed law enforcement to her. Oh, they the po-po, they the pigs, they don't do nothing but mess with people, they ain't got nothing else better to do, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? If you don't break the law, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You know the old saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, right? So if you're going to go and you're going to break the law, then guess what? You're going to get what's coming to you. Simple as that. This girl wanted to act stupid, try to act hard to a grown man, a police officer at that, and look what happened. She got arrested. Mom came, picked her up, she got ticketed for trespass, mandatory court appearance, she now has a record. When she could have just listened the first time. Hey, guys, we should probably leave. You know, it's just simple as that. So now we'll rewind a little bit back to the 7-year-old. Granted, the 7-year-old does have something wrong with him. There still needs to be reprimand there. There still needs to be some kind of repercussions for acting out. This mom came unglued, and I'm pretty sure she's probably going to try to file a lawsuit in Florida. I can't remember which police department in Florida, but I'm pretty sure she's probably going to try to file a lawsuit against the school district or the police department, something stupid, I'm sure, because she just, you know, I get it. If you have a kid that has some kind of mental handicap, it can be a handful sometimes. I see it all the time. I see people all the time with mentally challenged kids, and they do have their hands full because they're just a lot to handle. And I understand that, but you still have to have some sense of, you know, common laws. You don't do that. The kid needs to however, it needs to be broke down to that kid that you cannot act out like that. You can't hit people. You can't put your hands on other people and expect nothing to happen. It drives me nuts. I really don't understand it. And the worst part about the 14-year-old girl, after her talking all this smack to the officer, calling him a pig, F this, F that, you know, just tons of stupid things that should never have been said from a 14-year-old, which again goes back to the parents. God, she starts screaming, help, help, oh my God, help me, somebody help me. Well, you know what? Had you not smarted off to the police officer, you wouldn't have been in that predicament. Parents, teach your kids right. Teach them law enforcement aren't bad people. Law enforcement officers are not bad people. Teach your kids not to break the laws. You know, I mean, I'm prime example. I was a knucklehead when I was younger. Constantly getting in trouble. I never did anything stupid enough to give me a lifelong record. It just frustrates me. It seriously frustrates me because it makes no sense. It is so easy to teach your kids to do right, but yet parents make it so hard because they just don't want to deal with it. Here's an idea. Don't want to deal with your kids? Don't have them! Use protection! Jesus Christ! It is not that hard. If you're not ready to be a parent, be responsible. And don't say, oh, well, blah, blah, blah. We didn't have anything. Okay, so then if you didn't have anything, then guess what? You shouldn't have been doing it. It just drives me nuts. Parents need to take responsibility for their kids. And you know what I think? I'm a firm believer, and there's some, I haven't fact checked this, but I do know when it comes to truancy, it's the case now. There needs to be laws. If a minor breaks a law, the parent needs to be held responsible, because that will put it in perspective for those parents, and that they need to teach their kid to do right. Truancy is one of those things I do know for a fact that is happening now. Parents can get in trouble for not sending their kids to school, as well as the kids going to juvenile and then forced to go to school while they're in juvenile detention. I think it needs to happen with a lot of other things. If you have a child and he or she is a minor and they commit a misdemeanor, meaning if they commit battery, domestic violence, ag battery, aggravated assault and battery, whatever the case is, I think the parents should be charged. Simple as that. I truly feel that way, because then it'll put it more in perspective. Be like, dang, I really need to do something about my kid. He's out of control, or he or she's out of control. This should have never been happening. Now I'm getting in trouble for it, and I'm not talking about jail time. I mean, if it's a serious offense, maybe. But I'm saying, like a $2,500 fine. Don't pay the fine, guess what? We suspend your license. That parent's going to go home and probably beat their kids that double crooked letter, but you know what? That's what needs to happen. Within reason, of course. I'm not condoning child abuse. I'm just saying. Too many parents let their kids get away with murder because they don't want to deal with it. But if it ever got flipped around to where the parent was responsible for the child's actions, I think that would change things. If there's any politicians watching this video, there you go. There's some new bills, especially in Illinois. Quit trying to tax more people, more money, and why don't we put some bills into use that will actually work, like having parents be held responsible for their child's actions. Simple as that. Definitely think that'll change the dynamics on things for kids committing crimes and what parents actually do about it. My mom was kind of light on me. It was my old man and my grandmother used to take the belt to me and beat my ass. I did something wrong, boy, I got lit up. And yeah, until some of my family moved 600 miles away, 10 hours away, I was a pretty good kid. The family I was closest to decided to move away. That's when I started to be a little knucklehead, start doing stupid stuff. I don't know, maybe it was rebelling, maybe I was just ticked off. I don't know. I wish I could rewind and go back in life then where I am now and look at it, replay it, and be like, man, what was I thinking? Anyways, that's my thoughts for today. Parents should be held accountable for certain crimes that are committed by their children, and then the parents will have more insight on, why they need to raise their child right. Don't allow your children to talk foul to law enforcement. Don't let your kids think it's okay to put their hands on somebody else. It's really not. Anyways, that's it for today. You guys have a great day. Stay safe.